I'm sure you're most likely aware of the situation with the voice actress for Bayonetta and her calling for her fans to boycott the next Bayonetta 3. If you're wondering why you're seeing tweets talking about paying voice actors, then that's most likely why. Bayonetta is one of the most iconic video game characters, and one of the most recognizable things about her is her voice by Helena Taylor. Now, the reason for this whole thing is because Helena, who posted several videos on her Twitter, said that she would be just paid a mere $4,000, in which she rightfully, in my opinion, was like, fuck no, 4,000 is not enough. It's a bit insulting. And so she posted several videos about that on her Twitter. And of course, Twitter went irate, and several YouTubers were talking about it and how unfair they believe it to be, in which I have the same opinion as well. I believe that there's been several things that's been going over the edge, in my opinion, such as the actor calling for a boycott of the game, in which I completely understand the frustration. I mean, Bayonetta is one of the most iconic video game characters ever, and her voice makes up a very large part of that. Like Senator Armstrong and his charismatic voice being voiced by Alastair Duncan, or Vegeta and Piccolo being voiced by Christopher Sabat. It's a very, a voice actor can really solidify a character. But I understand the frustration behind it. But one thing that I believe is just not right is calling for the boycott of the next Bayonetta 3, in which, yeah, you know, the company may have treated the voice actor unfairly, but I don't believe that that's enough to hurt the developers and the animators and the people working on the game themselves, because they really have nothing to do with the whole situation of being paid so little for her talent. The developers, the people working behind the game, they have nothing to do with the money that Helena was being paid. In which I understand her frustration. I would want to be paid much more than that. In which it was just a mere $4,000. Not $4,000 weekly, not $4,000 monthly, just flat out $4,000, right? And so, I just simply don't believe that the people working behind the game should have to suffer for it over something that they have no control over and have nothing to do with. So the voice actress to replace her is Jennifer Hale. Now, if you don't know who Jennifer Hale is, you probably do, because she's been in so many things. Any movie or TV show, anime, cartoon, video game, whatever, she's most likely voice acted in it. And her range is insane. She's one of the biggest voice actors, period. Rightfully so. She's incredibly talented, and I'm not a fan of Bayonetta. I've never really played a game. I've never watched a walkthrough, but personally, I feel like she would play a great Bayonetta from the clips I've seen. And so, I really don't think that she deserves any shade, any backlash for taking up the role, because this is her job, right? Nothing was petty out of this. This, like, someone would have had to voice act Bayonetta eventually. They can't just make a game without Bayonetta being quiet the entire time. They can't do that. Someone else would have had to have done it. And Jennifer Hale has nothing to do with the pay that Helena Taylor received. And she's been so professional about it and everything. And it really isn't fair to have any backlash or anything thrown at her, because she's just doing her job, right? She's a voice actress. Someone would have had to have done it eventually. I understand, like, the frustration behind it. I mean, people wanted to downplay it, right? Like, oh, she's just saying words. Like, Helena was just saying words. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just doing a simple voiceover for the video, just simple commentary. I'm already having a hard time doing it. It's really not that easy. But I feel like this whole thing wouldn't have happened if they just simply paid her more. In which I understand, like, apparently Helena Taylor worked something like in the double digits for her hours, but that still doesn't downplay voicing an iconic character like that, especially a main character in a game, right? Games last longer than movies, especially like story mode, especially games with stories in it. So she really deserved, in my opinion, it really deserved more than just a mere $4,000, especially just 4,000, just flat out like that, and not weekly, not monthly, none of that. But but one thing I don't support is the boycott of Bayonetta 3, in which the developers and people working behind it have nothing to do with it, and they shouldn't have to suffer because of something like that. And overall, it's just a really shit situation. And there's been several more updates coming out about it, and I'm sure there's gonna be more updates coming soon, but I'm just trying to remain neutral on it and not exactly take any sides here. But it overall is a shit situation. But if you wanna get Bayonetta 3, go for it. If you wanna support Jennifer Hale, Helena Taylor, go for it. I support both of them. I'm probably not gonna get Bayonetta 3 mainly because I know nothing about it, and I think it'd be pretty dumb to buy the third game in a multi-game series. That's all I have to say. Um, Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, whatever you want to do. See you around.